Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, we're coming here with another podcast. Thanks for tuning in. You guys are always a wonderful audience, and we appreciate you. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit that bell notification button, go to patreon.com/Chris Voss, and follow us on iTunes, Google Play, and the TuneIn app for all the podcast updates. I've got a wonderful guest, exciting guest from Colorado with me today. It's Summer Glitter Weirich. And thanks for coming on the show, Summer. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yeah, all the way from Colorado. We love Colorado. So tell us about who you are and what you do, and let's talk about it.
So like Chris said, my name is Summer Weirich, and I am with Connnect. Connnect is a custom retreat planning company, and we focus on teams that are run remotely. As we know that there are more remote companies, or companies are opening up to the idea of being remote. We know that there is a need for retreats, even more so than there have been in the past. And whether your company needs something small like a coaching package, or if you need a little bit more help consulting, or if you just want full-on project management, want to be hands-off, we can help you with whatever you may need.
You know, I see a lot of my friends in the technical business, especially in coding, they're running now international teams, and sometimes they're all just running out of their house. And they're running these international teams of coders that are sometimes in either Russia or in Prague, or in some of these old European Russian cities, sometimes Japan. And they have a company that's basically spread out around the world, which is pretty amazing. And a lot of times they don't have an office. They're just doing everything from the home.
Yeah, and that definitely causes some problems, and it also makes solutions for other problems. So I personally really like that I am location independent and I have great schedule flexibility. I can decide, okay, well, it's a powder day today, so I'm going to go snowboarding. As long as I have room in my schedule to do the work tomorrow, or I don't have a meeting, obviously, I can go do that. At the same time, if you're working out of the home, sometimes you can become isolated. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure doesn't happen. Is we don't want people to become extensions of their computers. We want the computers to help us to achieve what we want to, but we don't want to just become that extension of the computer.
I might be guilty of that sometimes, but I run like 9 meetup groups here in Las Vegas, and I use them to get me out and get me meeting new people. And then every now and then I call up a friend for lunch, and I'm like, I really need to go buy someone lunch so I get the hell out of the home, because I'm starting to get cabin fever here, man. I'm starting to get weird. But especially during our Las Vegas summers. But yeah, it's pretty intense when I see these guys, running an office internationally, and you have no idea sometimes whether people are doing their job, other than, I guess, the code they turn in.
Yeah, I mean, you have to definitely have full transparency when you're on a remote team. You have to let people know what you're doing, when you expect to be finished, so that they can do what they need to do without interrupting your flow, so to speak. So systems are very important for remote teams. And, you said your buddy operates all across the globe, which is great. But yes, you need systems. And it's great that if you have the whole globe to choose from, you're not limiting yourself to the talent pool that's in your area. So that's one of the many great things about remote work, is you can pick from a lot more people.
Plus, there's pools of great app developer, or good app developers, so let's call it that. There's pools of good, and I'm sure great app developers. I think Venezuela has a huge amount of places people like to go to have their apps built. Most Silicon Valley venture capitalists, to my understanding, still like to have stuff done locally, and they like to have control and oversight and control the teams. There are dangers of working with remote teams. I mean, someone can lock down your site because they just decide they want to be a jerk about it, or they don't feel they're getting paid well or enough or on time. I've had friends that have done that sort of work and been trying to build a website, and one day the guys decide they want to get paid more, and suddenly your site doesn't work.
Well, that's why, having security is important for your team. And also, we decided, so we're a team of 3. I am a director of events, and we have Rachel McGee, and she's the director of travel. Charlie Birch is our director of program development. All 3 of us are co-founders, and we decided that when building our business that we wanted to build it from the ground up. We want to know how to do everything within our company so that we don't have those kind of problems. So everything that you see on the website has been done as a collective effort of the 3 of us.
And let's plug that website. What website do we go to read more about you?
www.rebelandconnect.co.
Rebelandconnect.co. Sounds like my kind of business, really, when it comes down to it. Looks like you got some free downloads and tips and stuff on you guys' website.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff up on there, and we also recently just added a whole new section on Remote Work Summit, which is an event that we have coming up for people that are remote workers, particularly for remote leaders that want to go on a destination style retreat/summit and come on out and join us in Guatemala. It's going to be a ton of fun. We've got a bunch of speakers already lined up from the likes of Dell. We've got Free Up on board. We've got a few people. EO Collective just joined in today. Same with Carlin Shaw and the Strangers to Friends experience. We've got a whole bunch of awesome names, and the rest of that list is on that page that says sponsors. Sorry, that says sponsors for the Remote Work Summit, and the shortcut to that is bit.ly/remoteworkconnect.
That's pretty cool. There's a summit for it. I mean, I know so many people are doing this now. I suppose there should be a conference for it.
Yeah, there's, we like going to conferences. We're actually going to Collision Conference in New Orleans that's I think the end of April, beginning of May. And we're going with a group of 10 women. So it's the 3 of us plus a bunch of others. And we've got everybody staying in the same hotel so that we can experience it together and also enjoy some of the nightlife in New Orleans. So
I hear there's nightlife in New Orleans. I'm not sure, but I hear that. That's a great conference. They start out here in Vegas, I think, or they had at least 1 or 2 years here in Vegas, and then they moved to New Orleans. And it's a great conference. Good people. They're really raging in the size of it and the popularity of it as well.
Yeah, we our summit's obviously having the name summit rather than conference. It's a lot smaller. It's going to be 200 attendees, so people that come there can really get to know the other leaders that are there, can get to really enjoy their time in Guatemala. And as with anything that we do, any of the packages that we sell, 10% of the profit goes back to some kind of nonprofit. So when we do actual retreats, we help whoever's doing the retreat, they can help us choose where that 10% profit goes. So they can choose, and it's somewhere local from the area, because whenever you do any kind of event anywhere, even though it's great for the economy, it also is hard for an economy as well. So we want to give back to anywhere that we host an event. So for this particular event, we have chosen Connnect, which is a charity that is aiming to end malnutrition in rural Guatemala. And it's not just, giving them product, but also giving them knowledge and helping them to take the steps where they need to, get a job and ways that they can overcome this chronic hunger issue for good instead of just a temporary problem.
So you work with content providers, I think, leadership coaches, trainers, team building facilitators, health and wellness professionals, distributed remote business development and management experts, and software SaaS companies that provide remote teams to work better. So if I have a remote team, and say I'm running a bunch of coders internationally, what sort of services can you offer?
So we start off all of our packages with what we have called our discovery package. And the discovery package is the introductory package for, like I said, a building block for all of our packages. And what it starts off with, we'll talk to, the point person. So maybe the CEO, maybe the HR exec, whoever it is that is in charge of facilitating the retreat for the team. And first they'll talk to Charlie, our director of program development, and they meet with Charlie for an hour session after they've had a visualization, which they do before they come. So they have, pre-existing idea, usually, not always, sometimes it might be a blank slate, but the visualization will help them start to visualize or continue if they're at that point. And then they have the hour session with Charlie, and she'll help clarify, like, why are you going on this retreat, and what are you going to be doing? And then then we have a mandatory 2-day break in between them having a session with Charlie and with Rachel, so that Rachel has a chance to fully view that hour session, and more importantly, that the leader has that time to marinate on the conversation that they had with Charlie. And then Rachel will start helping them figure out the travel specifics. And once she's done, same thing, there's a mandatory 2-day break in between, and same reason. And then on the final session, being the event specialist, all the nitty gritty details. So we'll go into, everything from how are you going to cater the event to, are people going to be on the ground running in the event? How many people do you need? Do you need lighting? Do you need sound? Whatever it is that you need to facilitate the event. And then after that's over, the leader gets all 3 of those recorded sessions for themselves to keep, forever, evergreen. And then they also will get a survey to take back to their team. This is an electronic survey that the 3 of us create as a team. And it's something that, through Google Forms. Google is our software of choice for that type of thing. So we use Google Forms, and then that survey can be easily distributed to their team. And once they respond to the questions these are custom created surveys. So it all has to do with the conversations we've had with that leader and what their team looks like. Is it a small team? Is it a big team? How, is it distributed across the United States or the globe? Everyone will answer that, and then it can be collected, as I'm sure most of our listeners know, Google Forms can be collected into a spreadsheet automatically. So there's not additional work other than digesting the information. And then from there, if they'd like to continue on their own, they may. Or if they'd like to do a consulting package, we can do what we call our Atlas package. Atlas package is, a step above that. We will serve them essentially with an atlas, a guide of something that gives them, for instance, 5 different musicians that would be a good match for what we discussed, 5 different hotels in the area where we decided we wanted to have it, etc. And then they can do the booking and all that on their own. Then our full-on project management is called the concierge package, and rightly so, because they no longer have to worry about booking the plane tickets or figuring out who's staying where. And, there's a lot that comes to planning an event, especially a company retreat. I mean, is it going to just be the employees? Are we taking significant others? Are we bringing along the whole family? Are we working? Are we playing? There's so many different factors. And so, maybe if you're a CEO of a company, you probably have somebody that's your right-hand man, so to speak, that's going to help you out with what you need. Some of those people might be great at planning events, and some of those people might not be. Regardless, do they have time for that? Is it going to take away from your company? So you want to make sure that you're using your team in the best way that you can. So that's where we can help out on that project management level.
That's awesome. I mean, I never really thought about it, but if I ever did an event, especially like a company-wide sort of event, if I had a bunch of employees, I mean, I wouldn't know the first darn thing about setting up for a retreat now that I think about it. One of my friends who owns an app company that does a travel app, she recently did a big promotion where she brought a bunch of women to Jamaica and put on a whole thing for them. And I remember that's always a challenge, because you've got to be like, what do I do with all these people? And they're here, and how do I keep them busy and happy and motivated and engaged? And yeah, the logistics of hotels and planning and flights and whatever nightmares, and I certainly wouldn't want to deal with that. I'd be like, please, oh God, I don't want to. I got better things to do with my time. So that's pretty awesome. How long have you guys been doing this?
We have been around for about a year and a half. So we're definitely still a startup. We love it. It's great. It's very motivating when you wake up and there's something that you love to do every day. I love helping people in general. So this is an extension of that. And we ourselves go on retreats, and all of us like to travel. When you're planning an event, like you said, there's lots of things that you maybe don't think about. One of those things is some people need more time to decompress on their own, particularly people that are introverted, but not only. Some extroverts have those introverted qualities as well. You may go to an event and you're go all day long, hardly have time to process the information that you took in. So it's just something to think about when you are planning an event. And maybe some people might thrive on staying in a whole house together. Like if you're a smaller team, a lot of people might opt to rent a large house, for instance, through Airbnb or something. And if they rent the house, well, that's great and all. However, if you can't get away and you need that that time to decompress so that you can appreciate your team, that could cause problems as well. Even if you're a great team, you need some space.
Start having people stab each other.
Yeah, we want to keep the stabbing to a minimum, of course.
Yeah, that's always good. That's what I find with no one wants to get shivved on the team. That's just it. But so, sometimes someone on the team does need to get shivved. I mean, that's just, let's face it, that's a fact.
Long on the team, then they shouldn't be on the team.
Every now and then. I just don't write people up. I go for a shivving. I'm not sure that HR approves of it, but
probably not.
And they complain I shiv them. So my HR director, currently I'm suffering manslaughter charges for that, but I'm sure I'll beat him. So that's really cool. You guys, there's three co-founders I see on your guys' website. You guys built this company and you're rocking and rolling, and it sounds like you're enjoying your day life. You've built an entrepreneur job where you guys can enjoy some playing in the mountains, going skiing, which is Colorado is always great for, of course.
And Rachel's actually, our director of travel, is actually down in Guatemala right now.
Oh, wow.
Actually doing some volunteer work today for, I'm not sure how many days, but she's doing some volunteer work down there, giving back to the communities. And then she's going to visit our beneficiary, Connnect, which is in San Marcos La Laguna, Guatemala. And she's going to meet with Greg, who is the director of, is the owner of Eagles Retreats, which is the space where we're hosting the retreat. So she's going to scout out in person all the different spaces that we've already, talked so much about in our planning. And she's going to actually get to meet some of the people we'll be working with in person, meet some of the yoga instructors. The tickets for the event include a yoga session one of the mornings, your choice of which morning, obviously availability pending. And then they will also have 2 different excursions included in the ticket. So we don't just value, learning and networking, but also enjoying the culture of the area where we go to visit. So it's going to be
Guatemala's got to be a fun place to go when it comes to culture, food, and interesting places to go see. Don't they have temples in Guatemala? The old temples of whoever built.
I really know a lot more about the area where we're at, Lake Atitlan, because we're looking into different spaces and companies that I know there's some great hiking to a place called Indian Nose, and there's lots of different kinds of adventures. Some of the things that might be as adventurous as cliff jumping, and other things that you might want to do. Some people might want to do something like basket weaving because that's something that they do in that area. So we have things for people who have adrenaline interests of different levels. So you don't.
And some people just probably want to get away and decompress, right? They want to retreat so they don't want to go someplace and work. They just want to do something else for a change.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the movie City Slickers there for a bit, where they go off to the cattle ranch.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that movie in so long. It's so funny.
That was a great movie. It looks like you guys have some great things on your website. You've got retreat planning guide with some free downloads, top 15 things to consider when planning a company retreat. I never really gave it any thought that there's a lot of work to this, and now I can see there really is. And so hiring a company or vendor like yourselves to be able to do all this stuff, is this a growing business that people around the world are you seeing a lot of people that are doing the very same thing?
I've definitely seen some other companies pop up since we started our company. When we started it, I only saw that there was really one other company that did something kind of like what we were doing. And the biggest difference that I see is that we have a full-on custom model for the retreats. A lot of other companies, it's, oh, you are interested in doing a yoga retreat. Here is a yoga retreat. Or you're interested in, hey, you want to go to San Francisco. We've got this retreat in San Francisco. And a lot of things, it's kind of like a prepackaged something. It's a difference of, going to the salad bar versus ordering the salad on the menu with no substitutions.
Well, sounds like a really cool business and really fun thing for you guys to do. And congrats! Is this your first company that you've started, or the others?
Rachel and myself, I know it is not for Charlie. Rachel has an art camp that she operates out of Atlanta. So one thing I didn't mention, that we are also a 100% remote team. We operate remotely most of the time, except for when we're at events together, of course.
Sure.
On retreats together. So Rachel has an art camp that she operates for kids in Atlanta with her mom and her sister. And then Charlie is based in the Jersey Shore, and she used to have a coaching business, and she wanted to help more people and do something that's a little bit different. And her nature is more introverted than the other two of us. So her working from home, she had that experience of, okay, I'm not seeing anybody in real life face to face. She was having conversations like you and I are having, and being at home alone all the time. And she's like, well, I've got this thirst for human connection, and it's not being fulfilled. So that's a big part of why she's the one that came up with the idea for the company. And based on the background of Rachel and myself, she reached out to us because of our expertise and knowing Charlie and how great she is and how thorough the business plan was before we were even involved. Of course, we all collaborated and changed things around, and pivot as startups do. But, seeing how much work she'd put into it and how much passion she had for it and how much it really resonated with both of us, we were on board right away. Charlie said that, we could have a few days to think it over. And I don't need a day to think it over. I know that I'm all for it. So that's great. And I mean, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I haven't really owned a business officially, but when I was in high school, I was mowing everybody else's lawn with my lawnmower, and I had my own babysitting service and this and that and the other. So I've always done things, but never officially started a business. So it is my first business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, and it's cool that you guys are doing really great stuff in Guatemala, and you're giving back and charitable events and stuff like that. Those are really important for businesses to make a contribution to the bigger society in the world.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We know that social giving is something that's very important, not just to us, but to so many different companies. So, I mean, if anybody's interested in sponsorship for the event, we do still have sponsorship spots available, and it's going to be a really great event.
And that's for the I want to say conference, but it's for the summit you guys are having. So
people I'm not sure where the line is between summit and conference. I think it's a gray area.
It's pretty much whatever you want to call it these days.
But I think the general rule is summit is a smaller people and the conference is larger. But where that line is up for debate.
Cool. So anything else we should know as we wrap up the show? We covered a whole mess.
We love to connect with other people. We also run a remote work think tank for leaders on Facebook. So if people want to come It's bit.ly/remote work connect. I actually said it wrong before. It's bit.ly/remote work connect for the Facebook group, and it's bit.ly/remote work summit for the summit. But we've got a lot of great things going on in the think tank. We actually just had a training on outsourcing this morning, like the 6 Nathan Hirsch of Free Up is the person who co-hosted. We've already had somebody from yonder.io. We've got a bunch of different think tank lives coming up. So kind of how you have the live show here, we've got think tank live, and it's just within our Facebook group. So anybody that's a team leader and wants to come and either share their information and or learn from other remote leaders, we'd love to have y'all in there.
Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. So let's give that plug to the websites one more time where people can find your website.
Okay. Yeah. So it's www.rebelandconnect.co. And you can also find us on Facebook. Like I said, that's going to be bit.ly/remote work connect. And you can find us on Twitter and Instagram with the Rebel and Connect is the handle for those as well.
Sounds great. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Summer. We certainly appreciate it. And everyone go check out Summer's websites and throw her company some business if you've got some events you need to plan, things you need to take care of, and check out their summit. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe to us on YouTube, hit that bell notification button, go to iTunes, Google Play, and the TuneIn app. Go to patreon.com/Chris Voss to support the show. Certainly appreciate our audience and appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks for coming by, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Chris. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Summer.